State police, is this the way to fix the rising insecurity we're facing in Nigeria? The president has called for amendment of the constitution to allow for state police. Is this the way to go? Giving the control of the police to the governor, will this fix insecurity in Nigeria, or will it create more problems? Is Nigeria ready or ripe for state policing? Will the complex issues still not be there? Will it solve the current insecurity problem that we're facing as a nation? Let's listen to this report and I'll come back.
About state police, we're being delusional. If you have state police, it's not going to change anything. Once you have an established culture of impunity, nothing is going to change. Because if the federal forces, there has been allegation of infiltration, how are you not sure they are going to infiltrate the state forces? Until we collectively rid our society of this level of terrorism, nothing will move further.
For state police to work, now there are certain guardrails that need to be put in place.
Right.
Somebody said if you don't learn from history, you repeat history. And I think it would be a shame for us to repeat history. From 1999, all the leadership team of Nigerian police force I know have always been against state police. Now, some are simply because they don't want to change. Some have genuine fears, part of which I've just explained. Because if you look at the 1966 report of the commission put together by Ironzi, if you change 1966 and put 2026,
it's like
you
not
read exactly what's happening. Exactly.
Right.
So all the accusations we have against police right now existed then. So the issue now about why some governors are for it, why some governors are against it, is partly cost. Let me explain. You see, in 1966, when decision was as at 1966, we had the 3 tiers of policing. Then we also had regional prisons and federal prisons.
Right.
So when the decision was made to centralize the police, the decision was also made to centralize prisons. So by 1970, we now have one federal prison service. So if we are going back to state police, states must now establish their own prisons.
And it will come at a cost.
It will come at a cost. Right. Because if I've committed a state crime, and 95% of crimes in Nigeria are state crimes, and I'm prosecuted by state police, you can't send me to federal prison.
Right.
So states will now have to build their own prison. That's cost to it. Cost not just of infrastructure, but also cost of feeding prisoners. Right now, states don't pay anything for that because everything is absorbed by the federal prison service. So that's a cost. There's a cost to the wider criminal justice system. So it's not just the cost of employing police officers. So some are afraid, hold on a second, there's no fiscal devolution yet. Where are we going to find the funds to absorb all this? And that is a genuine fear. So state police can happen, but certain guardrails have to be put in place.
Let's talk about that.
I mean, okay, for example, part of the challenge with the local native police, it was that, history, if you check history, in Kaduna, when they were being trained, the northern local native police were being trained, the instruction was in Hausa language. When someone was sent to Borno, and the Borno people were sent to Kaduna, and they refused to be trained in Hausa, that's not our language.
Right.
And then you now find that some of the local native police were being disproportionately favored by certain tribes. So in other words, the federal character principle that exists nationally will have to exist on the state level. Otherwise, you will have a segment of the state dominating the state police. For example.
Right.
And then we have the same problem again.
over and over
again. So, and this can be crafted in the laws that, that are put in place. So my suggestion really is that the president, the way he handled valiantly the issue of the tax reform, I think it's the same way you should handle this issue of state police, which is set up a expert panel. And the reason why the tax one worked was because the head of that panel is not a politician. So when he recommends, people know this is a technical solution, not a political color to it. Same thing for the state police. A presidential panel on implementation of state policing. Let them go through all this past history I've just explained.
Right.
And now say, okay, in light of this, these are the things we need to put in place. For example, there has to be uniformity in ranking across the states. You don't want a sergeant in state A to be equivalent to inspector in state B.
Elsewhere.
There has to be the kind of equipment, weapon they can hold at the state level. You know, there has to be, you know, in terms of training, what kind of training, can you give them?
Just watch. I think Rufai sum it better. We hear of recruiting bandits and repentant Boko Haram into the Nigerian army, and the army came forward and said some of those names that was listed was given by the government, but the governors allegedly. So if this can be done by the governors who does not have direct control over the police, what will now happen if they have direct control? Will they not just recruit these people, these armed bandits, into the police? Will this solve this insecurity problem, or will this create more problems because these people will now have state backings? So this is the challenge. I, for one, think state police is a very brilliant idea, but the current state in Nigeria now, we are not ready to have state policing. The issue is complex. It's filled with emotion. Some people might be for it. Many people are for it, thinking it will solve the problem. No, but there are complex issues. Because if the current system that we have now is being corrupted by some of these governors, recruiting and listing names of people whose character is questionable, what will now happen if they have direct control over the system? And secondly, will they not use it against their opponent? Or is this the reason why many of them are decamping to APC to guarantee that, okay, we are now of one party, you can give us state police? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.